The question was, we have heard a lot about how the devil hates and influences humans, yet the Jesuit general, in quotes the Black Pope, has said the devil does not exist, and Pope Francis has said lost souls, in quotation marks, simply disappear. Has there been any correction to these statements? So, first of all, with regard to the Jesuit general, superior general, Cardinal Burke has corrected those remarks publicly, and other priests have, and bishops as well. With regard to the Holy Father's statement, the first statement about it was in the conversation with Scalfari in La Repubblica, and one of the difficulties with those interviews, of course, is that Scalfari doesn't take notes during his interviews, goes home, and then writes up what's there. The Vatican was complained to about those things because the Vatican actually puts those interviews on the Vatican website, and actually the story came down for a time but was put back up. There was no official correction either to that from the Holy Father or the Holy See Press Office. However, the other difficulty with that particular statement and that concept is that if you read the Holy Father's exhortation, there's a line in there that talks about no one is condemned forever. That's not the message of the gospel. And so that makes a difficulty because it seems to corroborate what was said in the Scalfari interview. And has anyone corrected that? Well, not specifically. It's very difficult for cardinals, for bishops to correct, if you will, the Holy Father. Their call is to ask for clarity. And that's an act of love and charity, because the cardinals, as collaborators of the Holy Father for the good of the Church, have that responsibility from Christ to bring clarity. And the role of the Pope is to bring unity to the Church. And so the cardinals have asked in love for clarity from the Pope, not in any way out of any kind of jealousy of the Pope, hatred of the Pope, or any of the insane things that are said by the mainstream media about what's going on. But the answer to this question about, is hell empty, or is there nobody in hell, or what, is known by the faith from the beginning. Jesus himself says to us, broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many there are that go therein. He said, narrow is the road that leads to life, and few there are that find it. In order to suggest that hell is empty, you need to suggest that Jesus is a liar. It was confirmed by Our Lady at Fatima when she showed the 3 children the vision of hell. They saw people in hell. They even distinguished between, you could tell who the demons were because they looked like these animals and so on, and yet they were there. In fact, Sister Lucia had an interview with a Father Lombardi, not the Father Lombardi we all know as the Vatican press secretary from before, but another Father Lombardi who wrote a book because he was kind of convinced of this theory that hell could be empty. There's a possibility, which was written about, yes, by von Balthasar, yes, but nonetheless, he asked her, because he knew she had seen hell and he just wrote this book, so he had an interview with her about the possibility, the hope that hell could be empty, that no one would be in hell. And she responded, no, Father, many are in hell, using the self-same word that Jesus used. And he said, but we have, and she cut him off and she said, no, Father, many are in hell. And he tried one more time and she said, no, Father, many are in hell. Jesus said something else on the question, because he said of Judas, what? Because he was speaking to his apostles, he said, better were it for him that he had not been born. If anyone commits a mortal sin, they're hell-bound. If they repent, they're heaven-bound. If you're heaven-bound, it can't be better for you than you had not been born. So again, you make Jesus a liar. So the answer is, has it been corrected? It's been corrected since the beginning. Like Bishop Schneider said when he was here a couple years ago, or last year, talking about what do we do in the face of heresy, we must say to a heretic pastor, I know my faith. It's the faith of all times. And for this faith, I'm ready to die.